Hi Aries, this is Nyonjo with Truth Exchange Tarot, and I'm here to do your December 2016 reading. So I just want to say thank you to all the people who've liked and shared my videos and made comments and likes and who subscribed. So thank you. So let's get started with your overall message. Your overall message is isolation. And I'm going to read from the book what this means, what the question is going to be to hold in mind during this reading. So, do not wait for the right time to live your life. You are on the verge of something big, but if you do not participate, it could pass you by. Do you know the difference between isolation and solitude? So, to clarify isolation, you have fear and time. So, those all together. I'm just sensing a very heavy energy. So I had to take a big breath of just like, what are you afraid of? What is pushing you into isolation that you feel like is trying to protect yourself? That is a barrier to hurt, to pain, and to the hurtful actions of other people. What is the reason behind biding your time? Not jumping towards what really makes sense for you in your life. I mean, it could be connected to this fear with the fear and the time connected. It's like, it also is another sense of like fear of missing out. But I don't get that sense because maybe that's another aspect to it for other people, for some folks out there, is that you feel like you're missing out on something, some experience probably that you see through social media, because that's how it's always triggered, at least for me. And like, you're seeing this because you're in this kind of not solitude, because it's isolation. And I think one of the questions that it's prompting is that, are these barriers that you're creating to protect yourself actually barriers for you to be receptive to what you need in the world that will carry you forward? Are you stopping yourself by trying to stop other people to hurt you? Is the underlying current of this theme. And how is that impacting your growth, in the sense of feeling very connected to it moving forward, that your growth is actually progressing? So yeah, that's the overall message. Okay, so let's get to your love reading. So you have the Fool card and the Wheel of Fortune. I mean, it's just basically saying take a leap of faith. Take a leap of faith in how you connect with people. Just jump. I'm just imagining you jumping off of a cliff into the water, and the water surrounding you, and you just feeling connected to this energy, this intuitive energy. This energy allows you to understand yourself better. This energy that just fills you up. This energy that is made up of the universe, and the universe is just holding you, like the universe is the water that's just cradling after you fall. Like you're connecting to this. I'm like feeling really happy. Like it's just making me really excited that you're connecting to this, like this, what you deserve, in the sense of like this support from these synchronicities and these fated meetings and whatever. Like once you fall into the water, once you jump, whatever that is risky towards you, you're going to connect to this universe. Because once the universe knows that you trust it, and once the universe knows that, it will provide you with what you need. And I know that's so difficult, but air, like fire signs, like we are just really spontaneous. At least for me, especially because I'm a Leo, and Leo is fixed sign, but I'm still like, maybe because I have Sag rising, but I have like a billion planets in Leo. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that we're very fiery, we're very spontaneous, we're very like reactive. And I think trying to channel that energy away from blocking other people and moving it towards what you need to do to just fall into faith, into trust, into knowing that things are gonna get better, even though it feels like, you know, because the Fool is connected to zero. It's like almost connected to nothing, which I think is connected to emptiness, is what I'm trying to say. And I think with this isolation card, that emptiness is very present, because there's a difference between, for me at least, there's the difference between solitude and isolation, is that in moments of my solitude, there's a lot of connection to self. There's a lot of internal work. There's a lot of feeling grateful for what the universe has brought into my life. It's all those things that make me feel balanced. But in isolation, it's this constant need to protect yourself, this constant feeling of anxiety even when you're alone. And I think what it's saying is going back to this like beginning stages before, it's going back to this emptiness and filling it up with this transformation and this faith, as opposed to filling it up with these barriers. Yeah, I feel that very heavily. I feel that very, very heavily for y'all. Like, because it's something I very much connect to, this experience of moving, transitioning from isolation to solitude. Like, it's a very difficult thing, especially for fire signs, but it's very beneficial. It's very, very beneficial to just fall into faith. No more cards for that. I'm like, that's pretty straightforward. So let's go to the couples. You have the Two of Wands reversed and the Five of Swords. So you're not making a decision. You're scared of making a decision that impacts your relationship. And this is also for people too, like I said, I've said in other readings, it's for people who also still have residual energy and connections to your past partners. And I say that even because a relationship has been like disconnected or severed, doesn't mean the energy is not still present and the karmic ties haven't been broken. So you can feel this energy like in your sleep, in your dream, or like in your dreams, in moments that kind of flash. So anyways, so what I'm trying to say is that you are not making a decision. What is it around? Ten of Cups reverse. You're not making a decision around something that is draining you emotionally and is draining your relationship emotionally and leading to conflict. Like, it's like you're scared. Again, it's this fear. It's this fear of losing out once you take that risk. It's fear of like just expressing your needs. And I think too, again, what the power of being in solitude and having moments of mindfulness is just being present with what you need and kind of living in what you need and feeling comfortable with what you need. So with the Two of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles, I mean the Ten of Cups is like the ultimate card of emotional fulfillment. And I think because it's reversed, it's this draining. It's like you haven't gone to this sense of final completion because you haven't made this decision that will ultimately benefit you. And what it kind of manifests in is in this kind of combative nature, and that's being present in your relationship. And it's kind of harming the dynamic because it's like, instead of like making the decision that makes sense for you. And I don't think it's a decision around, like I said, it's a decision around what makes you emotionally fulfilled, whether that is being connected to this person, not in terms of relationship, changing the status of a relationship, or just overall the dynamics that have been carrying forward and a pattern coming up again, or a pattern not completing itself, like you know this needs to go but you're not making a decision around it. Or I mean, I think it's really, because it's the Wands energy, I think it has to do with something that's in your power to make a decision around. So I'm like, make that decision. Make a decision. I'm gonna pull. No, I'm not getting any more cards. I think, in a sense, to pull any more cards, because I think you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, Aries. So yeah, let me know in the comments what it is, because I love to hear what people think. So we're gonna go to your career reading. So your career reading is very powerful. You have the Hermit, the Hierophant, and the Strength card. There is going to be some massive changes in the way you connect to your passion, your workplace, and your community. So the Hermit, again, it's this card very much centered around solitude. It's very much centered around introspection, internal digging, transformative work that involves moving towards what you want. Like, it's just very much of like this self-discovery. And I think this is because it's the beginning of the first card in the reading, and this part of the reading, that whatever this process of kind of addressing this fear that you have of going deeper, or like being alone almost too, because it's like you can feel isolated but when you're still around people. I mean, that's just what it is. It's like, I remember I was at a party a couple weeks ago, I think, and I was just sitting there and I was just like surrounded by people, but it was just like I felt so isolated and alone because I had no connection to anybody, and there was nothing that was really sparking me. So I was just sitting there like, I'm gonna go home and be by myself and hang out with my cat. And I went back into my solitude and I took a nice bath. It was a nice bath filled with like, I don't know, did I take a bath? No, I went to the club by myself. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, even if you are surrounded by people, if you're surrounded by toxic people, you're gonna inevitably feel alone. So I think what this Hermit card is speaking to is just doing that internal digging. And then its connection to the Hierophant the Hierophant is connected too to the sign of Taurus. And we just had a full moon in Taurus mid November. So that energy is sort of carrying over. Maybe there's been work that you did in November, because I keep saying it, but the Scorpio energy is just very powerful and full of the need to transform, and pushes you to transform, and brings experiences and synchronicities that force you to transform. So maybe that process is what you're kind of beginning, and maybe some people, you reacted by isolating yourself, and some people are reacting by trying to dig deeper. And I think if you haven't gotten to that place now, it's going to be very crucial to be able to kind of build the structures that you need. I mean, the Hierophant too is connected to institutions. It's connected to knowledge, or knowledge of higher power and spirituality, and into your purpose. And it's connected to spiritual teachers and mentors. I think this card came up for you in your full moon reading on my Instagram. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But yeah, so I think the theme again is just building structures, building almost like I'm getting a support network, building faith too. Like I said earlier, it's just building this structure of faith. creating rituals that allow you to maintain this faith. And I think in terms of connecting it to your workplace and your passions and your projects and your community, it's just like there's something higher going on than just how you get your money. Like something higher getting on to how you get your social capital. Like something that is just really forcing you to build, to go deep and build and connect to what really works for you. And it's based in this sort of spiritual faith. Like I said, going back to this Wheel of Fortune, it's like once the universe sees that you trust it, like I said, it will bring and provide. And I think this whole process is what that's leading to in general. And with the strength card is connected to Leo. I'm like, Leo. It also is connected to, in this deck it says 7, but in other decks I think it's also connected to, this deck is connected to 11. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that it has the infinity sign here. Infinity, when you turn it over, you see it's 8. 8 is connected to patterns and is connected to trying to build stability. So these patterns, these like structures and rituals that you create that allow you to feel this, allow you to manifest this internal work that you've been doing, will lead you to this sense of strength, this sense of self-worth, this sense of like self-compassion, and also, like I said, general inner stability. And I think what I'm saying too is just like this, there's a larger message in terms of like this is the time for you to address the very big lessons and the very big and like obvious issues that are happening in connection to how in your community, in your workplace, and how you create your projects. So now's the time. It's very fruitful energy for you to move forward and just internalized self-worth. And like that goes to go to your spiritual, and higher purpose. You have the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is definitely connected to emotional self-fulfillment and connected to like solitude in a lot of ways. And then you have the Knight of Cups, and then you have the 3 of Swords in the reverse. So moving towards and transitioning to this solitude, this knowledge of self, will allow you to feel the feelings that you need to address whatever pain, to address and release whatever pain has manifested and has blocked you from reaching your higher purpose. And I think this pain, 9 of Wands. This pain is the 9 of Wands in reverse, and you can see it's very, very red, very fiery energy. And it's like the 9 of Wands has to do with sort of standing your ground. And I think maybe you've attributed kind of being vulnerable or losing to this, like, being a loser. But it's like some battles are not worth it, and some battles people create where you ultimately are always gonna lose. You will never satisfy. And I think that's what this is saying. You'll be able to release this energy of like this need to be combative, need to feel like you're in this fight or flight. I mean, that's what you see. This tiger is just like, it's ready to go. It's ready to protect itself. It's ready to do whatever it takes to stay alive. But that urgency is something self-created. So you're able to make excuses for whatever reasons why you're isolating yourself. Like, I'm like, come back to the living. Come back to the living. Connect to your higher purpose by releasing and being open to vulnerability and weakness and what you perceive to be being a loser is. Alright, so the overall messages that you have is play is a pathway to joy, and movement awakens my creative spirit. There's a lot of heavy energy in this reading, y'all. A lot of heavy energy. And I think kind of underlying mindset to maintain is also connected to these new beginnings. It's like the Fool card is very much a playful energy. Like the Fool is just like ready to jump. It's just like this like childlike energy, and I think embodying that will allow you to kind of be okay with being vulnerable, because children are very like vulnerable. That's why we protect them. That's why we make sure that the messages that society sends it aren't impacting them in a negative way. And I think with connected to this play is again is connecting to your inner child. It's like, what would you tell you at 12, at 8? Like, keep it simple on how you talk to yourself and how you talk yourself out of this isolation, and how you're able to connect to this self and this internal stability and this internal strength and this internal emotional satisfaction. So, and then with the movement awakens my creative spirit to like this Herman energy of just introspection is going to spark whatever you need to move forward. It's like this movement, this transformation, because transformation is movement. It's going to allow you to kind of things to click, so you're able to you're like, oh shit, that makes sense. Like, thanks universe, good looking out. Like, that's kind of the energy I'm getting from this movement awakens. Like, it's going to be a big deal, just kind of reconnecting to solitude. So yeah, I'm like, should I pull another card? I feel like I get a sense to pull another card. I don't know why this is telling me to pull another card. Queen of Disc in the reverse, to clarify the higher spiritual purpose. It means take care of yourself. Be gentle with yourself throughout this process. Do not be hard on yourself. I know it's very difficult not to be hard on yourself. Like, I know. I know. But because there's so much heavy energy, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to trigger you and that are going to be brought up when you're moving through these emotions. And it's going to be crucial for you to kind of release this need to take care of yourself in a particular way, which you think is what self-care looks like. Again, it goes back to this idea of what in solitude comes to you, or what really works for you. Yeah. So thanks for watching. If you'd like a personal reading from me, email me at truthexchange@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram, Truth Exchange Tarot. And yeah, blessings.